ShartimusPrime, reading comics, toys are hella sick, hella whacking it, taking bad hits, taking back hits, Subscribe to the sky. Hey, what's up you guys? ShartimusPrime here, doing another top 10 video on my top 10 Marvel Legends of 2017. And none of these figures over here made the top 10 list. These are my runner-up figures. I gotta say, it was very difficult for me to come up with this list. If you don't like my list, I'm sorry, but hey, regardless, I did spend a lot of time and energy in developing this list, so a lot of thought was put into it. So if you don't like the list, hey, at least accept that I put a lot of thought into it, right? Some other figures that didn't even make in the top 20 over here were the Jane Foster Thor figure, the Elsa Bloodstone figure, the Luke Cage figure from the Defenders box set, the Invisible Woman figure, the Human Torch figure I actually really liked a lot, but they just didn't make, and the Mantis figure, the Nebula figure. I mean, there's just a lot of great figures that came out this year that did not make it in this list. The Mary Jane, that's another one I didn't put in the list. I have to give a shout out to the Mary Jane, even though I'll recap on that Mary Jane in just a minute. But yeah, this Black Panther right here, this has a special place in my heart because the people at Hasbro told me that if it wasn't for my review of the Blue Panther figure, they wouldn't have made this figure right over here. So that's a result of me having an actual effect on the product line itself, which is pretty amazing. And then we got the Moon Knight figure, which I know is in a lot of people's top 10 list, I'm sure, which is a great new figure. But for me, it's just a figure I wasn't as excited about. Death's Head 2 is great. We have a great new Phoenix figure that did replace the Toy Biz version. I love that Warlock figure. The paint detail and sculpt is amazing. That was hard for me to not put that one on there. The homemade suit Spider-Man figure, I really like that figure a lot. So much to the point where I don't really have a strong desire to pick up the SH Figuarts version. I know a ton of people want me to review that piece, so I may pick it up just to review, but as far as my desire for a better, or a quote-unquote better version of this right here, I don't have too much of a desire for that. I like that one enough as it is. I love the Yondu figure. Colossus is a good figure. It's probably my least favorite out of these 10 over here. He was bagged and placed in a bin, but I still think he's a very good figure, and I love that Sunfire figure. I like the Ares update over there. Really good figures. Anyway, let's get on to my top 10 Marvel Legends of 2017. Number 10 goes to Jessica Jones, and it is so hard for me to put this figure at the bottom of my top 10 list. I really love this figure a lot. I guess the only reason why she goes all the way down to the bottom of the top 10 is because she doesn't have the double jointed elbows. I want the double jointed elbows on the female figures, but I really love this look right over here. I think they did a great job on not just the head sculpt and making it look like Kristen Ritter, but I really like this body mold. And as I'd mentioned earlier, the Mary Jane figure, it's the same thing. Basically, I have the Black Widow head sculpt on here, but you can see, you know, the legs and everything is pretty much the same, so, you know, more or less the same figure, but having the leather jacket over here, I don't know, I just really like that look, you know. It reminds me of Charlita 1 when we first started dating, you know. It kind of does look like her a little bit. I also love that you can do some head swaps. I did buy 2 of these. I kind of might want to get a third one. I just really like this figure a lot. I love doing the head swaps, you know, like getting that red head look right over there. Looks great. Reminds me more of Charlita 1 like that even. I love that. You'd even put one of those Phoenix head sculpts on there. You want, I don't know, pretend she's riding a motorcycle or something. I don't know. But yeah, I just really like this figure a lot. Great paint detail. The articulation could be better, but really not the worst female figure. Definitely one of my favorite female figures of the year. Number 9 goes to the Invincible Iron Man. I really like this figure a lot. You guys recently saw my review, didn't you? Didn't you? I have some of the cards over here. I'm limited to only 5 cards per video, but yeah, I really like this figure a lot. I love the accessories that came with him. I love that we got this brand new body mold. They didn't reuse any parts at all whatsoever. Someone had tried to tell me that the feet were reused, but they are not. Those are brand new Tootsies right there. Really good looking figure. I love the articulation. I'm glad that we got another head sculpt for Tony Stark, so that's great getting the helmetless Tony Stark head sculpt as well. I'm just very, very pleased with this guy. Really dig this figure a lot. I had to put him in my top 10. Really great Iron Man figure. And at number 8 we have Tombstone. I have been wanting a Tombstone figure for a very, very long time, and I think Hasbro nailed it with this one. This is the Tombstone figure that I've always wanted. There's different versions of Tombstone, but this right here is the look that I was going for. I really love the paint apps on this. It does remind me of the Toy Biz days. I love that light wash, or the white dry brushing over the light blue. It just looks really good. I like the character a lot too. He's one of my favorite Spider-Man, well, not one of my top favorite Spider-Man villains, but I've always liked him because he's one of the gangster villains of Spider-Man, but he still has powers. You know what I mean? So I always thought he was a very cool character. Really liked Tombstone a lot. Very happy to have this figure. Love it. And number 7 goes to Shatterstar. So don't be surprised to run into some discrepancies over here on my top 10 Marvel Legends of 2017, along with my favorite figures from the different waves. The thing is that over time, my opinion changes, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And the reason why my opinion changed with the Shatterstar figure is that he just was not picked up off the shelf over the course of time since I reviewed him. The Jim Lee Cyclops, a lot more so, and other figures just have a lot more prominent spot in my collection. I gotta be honest, I mean, I had a great time taking pictures of this guy, had a ton of fun with it. I really still like the figure a lot. Definitely one of my favorite figures of the year for Marvel Legends. But as far as me just going back on the shelf and grabbing it and posing it around for fun and stuff like that, I just didn't catch myself doing that as much as I thought I would. So I still love the figure a lot. He just got bumped down a little bit just from me not posing him around as much as I think I should have. And number 6 goes to Namor the Submariner, and there's another discrepancy because in my Black Panther movie wave, I did mention that I liked the Invincible Iron Man more so than the Namor, and I know it hasn't been that long since I reviewed those figures, I just found myself not being able to put the figure down. It's been on my desk. I'm just amazed that we have this almost nude male body figure and it looks cool. I know it sounds like a very strange thing to say, but really, I just didn't think this figure was possible, and it's just very fun to pose around, and I think it looks great. I think Hasbro pulled something off over here that I just really didn't think could be done, and they really did a fantastic job with it. I really do like the figure a lot. This is one of those figures that's going to take more of a centerpiece in one of my display shelves. I mean, this is a classic Namor figure. I think Hasbro nailed it with this piece. So yeah, this is a figure I've been wanting for a very, very long time. Many years, and finally, we have it. And the number 5 spot goes to Angela. I did not think this figure would happen, especially with this design over here, because it was even just before this figure came out, they had changed her design in the comics to something a lot less revealing, which really bummed me out. And since I'd seen that, I just never thought that we would see this version of Angela. And man, she is stunning. I mean, it's not just sexy as all hell, but I mean, the figure itself looks great. We get a lot of nice gold and silver on here. I love the sculpt. Her head sculpt looks beautiful. I like the weapons that she came with. I think it's a really good figure. I like the articulation, minus the lack of double jointed elbows, though. I really wish she had the double jointed elbows. You're going to hear me say that for a while until they actually bring back the double jointed elbows. But yeah, man, I still love this figure a lot. I just didn't think it was possible that Hasbro would release this. They actually did, and they pulled it off so well. Great figure, excellent execution on this piece. Had to put her in my top 10. And I'm giving the number 4 spot to the Bullseye figure. This is a brand new Bullseye, and wow, Hasbro really delivered on this figure as well. Now, I really love the Toy Biz Bullseye figure that we've had for quite some time, but this one right here, I actually do like a little bit more so. Even though he doesn't have articulated toes, there's not as much sculpt and paint, but still, I think it just fits in with my most recent Marvel Legends so well to the point that I ended up falling in love with this figure. It just looks fantastic. I love that we get this effect over here, even though I think the daggers should be shifted over to one side or the other more so, but we get the interchangeable head, which I'm not showing right now. He does come with a dagger or a knife anyway, and he comes with his pistol, which you can't see right over here. And one thing that really stands out with this figure for me is that I've seen so many people take so many awesome photos of this. A shout out to the ACBA community, and you gotta check out the Articulated Comic Book Art website. They have these ACBA calendars for 2018, which are available right now. So hey, just a plug to the ACBA. You know, they also have some other new merch over there, so definitely worth checking that out. But this figure right here, yeah, man, I really think was a communal experience in the Marvel Legends community as a whole. I think just generally a lot of us had a lot of fun with this figure, and this piece definitely deserves a high rank on this top 10 list. And the number 3 spot goes to the Gladiator Bendy Hammer Hulk figure, and I love this piece. This is such a great Hulk figure. This is probably my favorite Hasbro Marvel Legends Hulk. I really dig this a lot. This figure was so fun to pose around and take pictures of. I mean, the real only downside to this is the bendy hammer, and that is really why it doesn't have a higher spot on this list. But other than that, the figure itself, and I love that you could remove the helmet over here, and I don't think the helmet looks that big, you know what I mean? It makes his head look bigger, but it doesn't look terribly out of proportion, you know? I really love how that came out, you know, both the head sculpt with the helmet and off, you know, it just looks fantastic. I love that they painted hair on his chest and everything. I love the sculpt of it. It's a brand new Hulk sculpt, so I'm glad that they didn't reuse parts from the other Hulk figure, even though they may have used the feet. Did they reuse something? I don't think they did. I think somebody may have mentioned that they reused something, but I think everything is brand new on this guy. I like that you can actually remove the chonkless if you want to, but yeah, it's just the bendy hammer right there is the only downside of this piece. Other than that, this is an amazing figure. Love this Hulk figure. Had a lot of fun taking pictures of it. And number 2 goes to the Vulture Build-A-Figure from the Spider-Man Homecoming movie wave. I did not expect to like this figure so much. The only downside for this figure for me is that he doesn't come with a Michael Keaton head sculpt, and I did include this guy in my bottom 20 of my top 20 figures of 2017. I had an exclusive Patreon video showing off those bottom 10 figures from my top 20, so check that out if you're interested. But this guy right here is amazing. He has a prominent spot in the dork room right when you walk in. He's hanging from the ceiling and fighting the homemade suit Spider-Man. It has a definite presence. I always look at it when I walk in there. I really like the articulation on the wings over here. I like how stable it is. He does come with a clear stand to help support him, but you don't have to have that. As you can see, he's standing fine on his own. We get great detail on the Vulture figure itself. And the reason why I didn't really let the lack of a Michael Keaton head sculpt bother me so much is because I realized, you know, I would probably have him displayed with the helmet on, you know, the way I have him set up in my dork room anyway. So he's definitely not getting a significant markdown because of that. And I love that Hasbro tried something new over here with the Build-A-Wings, and I'm just really pleased with how this came out. I'm very happy about it, and I think it's a great figure. And I give the number 1 spot to the Marvel Legends Jim Lee style Cyclops. This is just a figure that I've been wanting forever, man, and I just didn't think we're going to get it, and I think the execution of the figure is excellent. I ended up liking the figure more and more over time because he had such a prominent spot on my shelf. I even tried replacing him with the classic Jim Lee, or the classic Cyclops that came with the Phoenix figure, and I was like, nah, no way. And I found myself picking up the figure at random every now and then, just posing it around. I mean, I wish he had interchangeable hands. We are getting that Bucky Cap mold reused again, you know, and so there's a lot of reused stuff over here. There's reasons to not like the figure, I guess. The little strap thingies right over there, during my review, I found those a little bit trickier to get in place, but I had gotten a recommendation from somebody about how to place them on there a little better, and since then it's actually worked out pretty well for me. So I really like the figure a lot. Very fun. I really dig it, you know, I'm just so happy to have it. Oh man, the articulation is still fantastic on this piece. It just looks so cool, and Cyclops is one of those characters who I really wished I was when I was a kid. I always just thought it'd be badass to shoot eye beams out of my face. Yeah, I just wanted eye beams shooting out of my face. But this figure looks fantastic. I really love the design and the execution of it. It's just a great figure in my opinion. I love this piece. So that's my top 10 Marvel Legends of 2017. And I know this list isn't going to be the same as everybody else's list, or there's probably nobody else that has the same exact list as mine. I'm curious to know what your top 10 figures were. For me, it was very difficult getting this list together. I mean, look at this, man. I had tons of notes, crossing stuff off, going back and forth. I mean, it took a lot of time for me to put this together. So if you don't like my list, well, I'm sorry, but at least accept that I actually put a lot of thought and effort into compiling these figures together in what I think is a good top 10 list anyway. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment down below. Again, let me know what your top 10 Marvel Legends of 2017 were. I did put in my order for the Legendary Collector t-shirts. There will be some more available in limited quantity at ShartimusPrime.net, so you're still able to get one even though the pre-order time is over now. Also, I gotta give a big thanks to all these people over here for supporting this YouTube channel. As I had mentioned earlier, I have my bottom 20 figure, or my bottom 10 of my top 20 figures of 2017. I have that video available on the Patreon account. Plus, I still do the giveaways. I recently just did a giveaway for the Marvel Legends Taskmaster, so if you want to support the channel, check out the Patreon. And if you want to follow me on the Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, links are in the description below. I'll catch you guys later. Peace. Woo. Hey, new ShartimusPrime videos. Hey, you should click one. Yeah, click on one of them. Or subscribe if you haven't. Your face.